This is Calm AF, a podcast for humans who are hard on themselves. A podcast for the overthinkers, people pleasers, perfectionists, and overachievers. I'm Kristen Finch, and I'm going to teach you how to quiet that incessant negative chatter in your head. Because you know what a person with a calm mind can do? Anything they want. Grab your coffee, gorgeous soul, because today's the day you get Calm AF. Hello, and welcome back to Calm AF. So today's episode is for my ambitious, high achievers, high performers, those of you who have big goals, you are out there in the world doing really important shit, or you are figuring out how you get to do your important shit. You are committed to your success. But you are also realizing that the way you've been trying to get there or the way you have been achieving is not very sustainable. Okay? Being ambitious is such a gift. It's such a gift. I am so blessed and honored and privileged that I get to work with amazing, ambitious, high achievers, high performers. Having big goals and the drive to achieve them is what sets you apart. But success isn't just about what you accomplish. It's about how you feel along the way. The only reason we want to achieve any goal is because of how it's going to make us feel. And if you are realizing that you have these big goals and you are feeling burnt out or stressed or exhausted, this episode is for you, because today I am sharing the exact principles, the exact tools that I teach my high performance clients to help them stay ambitious and enjoy their success. Because being calm AF does not mean you have to dampen your ambition. In fact, I say we amp it up, but we do it in a way that feels good. So I'm going to talk to you today about the strategies that allow my clients to keep going, to keep growing, and actually thrive and enjoy the success they have worked so hard to achieve without burning out or spinning out or needing months and months of recovery. So we are going to talk today about the 5 key areas that make all the difference. So let's dive in. The first thing that I teach my clients is self-awareness, because you can't change what you're not aware of. And the most important thing that successful people need to know is not just their strengths, but also their patterns, their triggers, the thoughts that trip them up, their limiting beliefs, the habits that keep them stuck in stress or perfectionism or procrastination. But here is where a lot of high achievers get it wrong. When that old pattern pops up, when they slip into overthinking or procrastination, or they find themselves in a full-on perfectionist tornado, they waste time asking, why did this happen? Why did I veer off track again? Why am I still dealing with this old habit? Haven't I already unlearned this? Why is it taking me so long to unlearn this belief? The truth is that digging into the why did I end up here, of an old pattern, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't help you move forward. In fact, it can pull you right back into it so easily. Every second that you spend overanalyzing why you got stuck, why you feel like maybe you're not good enough, why you are procrastinating, is time that you are feeding that old neural pathway. And that's what I teach my high achievers who want to also be calm AF, right? They need to know this. They don't beat themselves up. They don't spiral into overthinking. They don't waste energy dissecting the past. Instead, they say, oops. It's simple. Oops, there's that old habit that I practiced for decades and have a very hardwired neural pathway. Oops, it popped up again. And that's it. Then they move their attention immediately to what they want to do instead. So think about it like this. You are standing at a fork in the road. One path is your old habit. It is well worn. It is very well paved. It's comfortable. It's familiar. It's automatic. The other path is newer. It's a little unfamiliar, but it is definitely where you want to go. the less time you spend staring at that old path, asking, why did I end up here again? The easier it is to redirect your brain to the new one. Because the truth is, the less time and attention you give that old pattern, the better. Doesn't matter why it happened. You've probably already done that work. What matters is what you choose to do next. So every time you catch yourself and you redirect, even if it's a tiny little shift, you are creating a new neural pathway. You are practicing creating a hardwired new neural pathway. It's like carving a new path through a forest. At first, it's bumpy, it's messy, it's hard to find. But the more you walk it, the smoother it becomes. It's the same thing with your neural pathways. And healthy Calm AF high achievers, they understand that rewiring the brain is not about perfection. It's about practice. And every single time you say, oops, and you just turn back to your new pattern, you are reinforcing the change that you want to create. So let that be your mantra. Oops and onward. Not why, not how long will this take, just oops and onward. The second thing is resilience. Resilience fueled by an unshakable belief in themselves. Listen, life will throw curveballs. It's inevitable. Challenges happen to everyone. Life loves to life. Even the most successful people that I work with have a lot of other things going on. They've got curveballs coming from every direction. The difference is we are not letting those setbacks, those curveballs, define them. They have trained their brains to believe the new story, that self-belief of, I am capable no matter what. I will figure this out. I have figured everything out. I will figure this out too. I don't need to know what that is right now. I just need to believe that it is possible, that I am capable of figuring it out. This belief makes them resilient. It means that they don't spiral, or at least don't spiral as far when they fall down, when they make mistakes. They don't waste energy questioning their worth or whether they have what it takes. They just keep showing up, knowing that success comes from persistence, not perfection. Okay, number 3, this is a game-changing strategy that I teach. Okay, if you want to be a high achiever, ambitious, achieving huge, big things, and you want to be regulated, the trick is to be relentlessly committed, but consistent-ish. Now, we all know, you've heard it a million times, that consistency is the key to success, and that is true, right? If we want to achieve something, we need to be consistently showing up for it. But usually the people that I work with don't have as much trouble with that as they do getting back started when something goes wrong. So what's even more important than consistency is flexibility. Because life happens, things go wrong, stress happens, and those rigid all or nothing routines, they set you up to either burn out or quit altogether. So let me tell you a client story. I'm going to call her Sarah. Sarah is a CEO. She is a mom. She is a marathon runner. God bless her. She thrives on routines. But every time life threw her off, her carefully planned schedule, like when her kids would get sick or something at work kind of blew up, demanded late nights, she would spiral. And missing one day of running made her feel like she'd failed, and then she would lose momentum for weeks. When we started working together, Sarah learned to embrace being consistent-ish. She shifted her focus from never missing a day to staying in the game, just showing up and doing something. Showing up and doing something is consistent-ish. So if she missed a run, instead of that being a huge problem, she would walk for 10 minutes or she would do a quick stretch. It wasn't her ideal plan, but it kept her moving forward. And the results of this was that Sarah not only trained for her marathon, but she felt less stressed and more balanced, and she actually enjoyed running even more, which helped her with that stress relief, right? It was a stress relief for her. And not stressing out about her stress relieving activity changed everything because she proved that she could adapt without giving up. Consistent-ish is just about showing up in ways that do align with your goals while also giving yourself permission to rest or to adjust or to adapt. Because success isn't about grinding yourself into the ground, it's about staying in the game sustainably. Another thing I teach my clients is how to be coachable. Successful, ambitious, regulated people are coachable. Now, let's be clear, being coachable doesn't mean blindly taking every piece of advice or trying to please everyone. It's not just everybody tell me what to do and I do it. It's not about abandoning your own voice or your own judgment. In fact, the good thing about the self-awareness piece that when people are deeply self-aware, it will allow them to really take feedback in and to discern what's useful and what isn't, what feedback works for you and which feedback doesn't. Being coachable means staying open, really. It's being curious whenever feedback comes your way. It means you are resisting the urge to defend yourself, to justify yourself, or to dismiss what you don't want to hear. And coachability really is what separates the people that I work with who grow quickly from the ones who stay stuck. It's not about intelligence or talent. It's about the ability to stay open and curious and willing to evolve. I have seen clients make massive shifts, not because they were the smartest, but because they were willing to listen and learn and try. The ones who struggle the most, they are the ones who argue with feedback. Or I wouldn't, not even like combatively argue with feedback. It's just they take the feedback and they say, well, but I don't know how to. No, the best way to do it is to take the feedback and apply it. The ones who struggle are resisting that change, or they're trying to control or understand or have a guarantee that every step of the process is going to create success. So the question to ask yourself is, how coachable are you? Are you willing to hear feedback and take it in without defensiveness? Are you open to letting someone challenge your perspectives, show you something that maybe you can't see? I'm actually going to do a whole episode on how to be coachable because of how important I think it is in people who are ambitious being able to achieve the success that they want and not get shut down because of feedback. Because the truth is, the more coachable you are, the faster you will grow. The faster you grow, the closer you will get to that success and being able to enjoy it. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about today is playing the long game. So, real success isn't about short-term wins. It is about creating a life that you can sustain. And one of the biggest skills that I teach my clients is how to delay gratification. High achievers, high performers, overachievers are wired for quick wins. They love checking things off the list, hitting milestones, and feeling that rush of adrenaline that happens with accomplishment. But the thing is, chasing immediate gratification like that is one of the quickest things to pull you off track. So I want to tell you another client story. We'll call this one Jessica. So Jessica had this habit of pushing herself relentlessly through stressful projects, telling herself, I know I need to rest. I will rest when it's done. I will, as soon as this thing is over, then I will take some time off. As soon as I finish that. But first of all, there was always something else. And by the time she got there to actually finishing up this project that she was working on, she was so burnt out that the celebration didn't feel good. She was sick. She was exhausted. She had no gas left in the tank. And the recovery period set her back weeks, maybe months. So when we worked together, Jessica started to see that thriving, enjoying her success wasn't about sprinting toward the finish line at all costs. She learned to pace herself. She learned to build in breaks, to prioritize her energy along the way. And yes, she needed my help to remember sometimes, but she shifted her thinking from, I will just reward myself when I'm done, to the best thing I can do is feel good while I'm working towards my goal. It's the best way to achieve your goals. So if you are ambitious, it's such a great thought to have. I deserve to feel good while I'm working towards my goal. And in fact, it's probably going to help me get to my goal quicker. This is what healthy high achievers understand, that short-term gratification might feel good in the moment, but it rarely serves the bigger picture. Instead, they delay gratification in small intentional ways, whether that's skipping their evening glass of wine that ends up being 2 glasses, or their evening scrolling on social media to prioritize sleep or setting boundaries. Even though it would feel so good to just numb out and do this, I am thinking about my future self and I'm in this for the long haul so that I can enjoy the success. And this shift isn't about self-denial. It's not about denying yourself things that you love. It's about recognizing that the real reward isn't the dopamine hit of finishing one task or indulging in something in a moment. The real reward is creating the life where you feel good, where you don't need the dopamine hits, where you are thriving, not just surviving the hustle. When things get rough, when things are hard, healthy high achievers, ambitious and calm AF people, they pull back, they recalibrate, they keep going. They focus on the long game because they know success and well-being aren't either or. They are both and. We need both and. And that's possible when you approach life with this intention. Okay, let's bring it home. One of the things that I've noticed about the most successful people in the world, not just my clients, but also the ones that you know, the highest performers, they are not doing it alone. They have coaches, not a coach, coaches that are there to help them focus on what matters the most, to get past whatever is stopping them and focus on the important shit they're here to do. The most successful people I know delegate what drains them. They get help for the things that they aren't experts in because they know that trying to do it all isn't a badge of honor. It is like the main ingredient in a recipe for burnout. So let's stop idolizing this idea of like, I do everything on my own, this hyper independence that often comes along with an ambitious, high achieving mindset. The most ambitious, high achieving people, they have help. And that is why they thrive. Okay, so wrapping up, here are the 5 things again. Number 1, self-awareness and building those healthier neural pathways. Number 2, resilience and an unshakable belief in themselves. Number 3, being consistent-ish and flexible. Number 4, they are coachable and they take feedback really well. They're open and curious. And number 5 is having a long-term, long game perspective and have those healthy coping skills. They focus on thriving, not just getting by. So my question for you is, which of these 5 things do you see yourself in as a skill to grow? Where could you shift a habit? Because I know who is listening. You are here to do really important things. You are ambitious and driven. So what habit could you shift? What thought could you change? What mindset do you need to shift in order to support not just getting a goal, but to actually enjoying life as you get to that goal? Okay, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Calm AF. If you loved it, I would love it if you'd leave a review so that other people, other high ambitious people who are doing important things out in the world but keep burning out, they get this message if you are leaving a review. And make sure you also subscribe so that you don't miss what's coming next. And if you are ready for support, if you are a highly ambitious, out there doing big, important things, and you keep getting stuck in the same places or you keep burning out, this is exactly the work I do with my private coaching clients. Together, we will help you keep reaching for what you want without burning yourself out. You can be ambitious and regulated. You can be driven and calm AF. And that is the sweet spot. That's how you not only achieve the life you want, but also enjoy it. So in the show notes, you can find all of the links. There's the application to apply to work with me for private coaching. There is a link to join Mastering Calm AF, which begins in January. It's 12 weeks of working through the regulated course, learning how to regulate your nervous system for real, for good, for life. And then if you would prefer just doing the DIY version, the regulated course is also there in the show notes. It is just do it on your own, self-paced, but it is a great starting place for people who want to engage in this work, but don't maybe it's not the right time for you to work with me directly. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed being with you. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Thanks for listening. And before you go, one more thing. So as you know, I am slightly obsessed with helping as many humans tap into their calm AFness as possible. So if this podcast has helped you, would you please leave a review, make sure you're subscribed, and share it with your friends. Also, make sure you head on over to KristenFinch.com to see how you can work with me. You can sign up for my emails and get any other goodies I have available. Until next week, I love you so much. I am so grateful that you're here. I'll see you next time.